I'd like to welcome you to the 2012 Thomas S. Green Award Ceremony. Although I had never had the opportunity to meet Tom Green, I always read the brief biography in the program that you all have and wish that I had met him. He is described as a man who personified personal integrity, exceptional leadership, and a remarkable commitment to voluntary public service. Tonight we're here to honor those who serve the public through their daily work and whose performance has earned them the recognition of their peers and supervisors as municipal employees, carrying on the spirit of Tom Green's dedication to the community through public service. I'd like to thank Assumption College for hosting our ceremony once again. As many of you know, we've recently moved the Research Bureau offices to the college right upstairs in this building. And we're in the process of creating a valuable partnership that will benefit both organizations. It's my pleasure to invite President Francesco Cesareo to welcome you to the campus.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon. It's a pleasure to welcome you here to our campus, and even though we've hosted these awards on an annual basis, this year they're particularly special because of the recent move back to the campus by the Research Bureau, and we're very, very delighted to be in partnership and collaboration with the Research Bureau. These awards are always special because we designate individuals within our community who have gone beyond the call of duty. These are individuals who have not only been exemplary in their day-to-day responsibilities, but they have gone beyond their day-to-day responsibilities because of their commitment not only to their department or their division, but their commitment to the people of this community. And that's really what we're celebrating this evening. We're celebrating individuals who, because of their actions, because of their selfishness, because of their dedication, make our community a better place. These are individuals who make our day-to-day lives better. And so we thank you and we congratulate each of you for all that you have done, all that you continue to do for the members of our community and for enhancing our lives and the quality of our lives here in this region. So thank you so much. It's a pleasure to also welcome to our campus this afternoon some members of our city government, City Manager Michael O'Brien. It's always a pleasure to welcome you here. We also have members of the school committee here, Tracy O'Connell-Novick and John Manfredo. Thank you so much for being here with us. And we'd also like to welcome Senator Richard Moore for your presence here on campus as well. So we hope that this celebration will continue to inspire other members of the community in the way that these individuals being honored today have inspired the lives of those that they have encountered on a day-to-day basis. So congratulations and welcome to Assumption.
And before I ask Mike O'Brien to come up, I probably have been remiss. I didn't introduce myself. I am Vice Chairman of the Research Bureau Board. My name is Karen Duffy. I'm the President and CEO of Worcester Credit Union, and I'm the Chairman of the Thomas Green Awards Committee. So now what I'd like to do is ask Mike O'Brien to come up representing the City of Worcester.
Thank you, Karen. It's indeed a pleasure to be here at this annual event, the 24th annual now, Thomas S. Green Public Service Awards. I want to begin, obviously, by thanking Roberta and the Research Bureau and their staff, in particular Jean, for the Director Extraordinary of Operations and Programs. Jean does an exceptional job coordinating this special event each and every year. How about a round of applause for Jean, Roberta, and the team. I also want to thank the Executive Committee of the Research Bureau and its officers, obviously led by the chairperson, Karen Duffy, and the great work that's being done. My sincere appreciation to you and the Board of Directors. Obviously, our thanks to Dr. Cesario and Assumption College for hosting this event. And it's important that we take the time to recognize those within municipal government that really go well beyond the job, well beyond the realm of their duties, who really do shine so much brighter for all of us and make our lives and all of our collective jobs the better. And so thank you all for giving us this opportunity to recognize the good works of our public employees and honor them for the dedication and service excellence. I stand here today humbled and will forever be humbled by the sacrifice of firefighter Davies and his family. Firefighter Davies in his service above self, the reality of his life being second to those that he served, running into a fire, as all of our firefighter family does, when others are running out, just because there was knowledge that there may be somebody in need within that fire. If we would just pause for a moment of silence in his memory. He and his partner, firefighter Carol, represent the highest standards of excellence of public service. And it's embodied, obviously, by all of our firefighters and embodied by all of our city team, and certainly for the firefighting family, embodied by Anne-Marie Pickett. I consider myself very blessed in the role of city manager to have the team that I have in city government, and I see it day in and day out as folks rise to the challenge. Leaner resources, more difficult situations, high expectations by the public, and they manage to find a way to get the job done, and to do that in the continuing effort of service with a smile. Tonight we honor 3 members of the Worcester City family, which I'm obviously very proud, and 1 member from our extended city family, a sergeant on the Southbridge Police Department. These 4 individuals represent our collective community's most valuable resources, the dedicated individuals whose efforts go above and beyond to try to make a true difference. Their tenure is a testament to their strong commitment to making the community a better place in which to live, to work, to visit, and to recreate. It's that commitment to service excellence that is demonstrated in their daily work, a positive can-do attitude, first-class customer response, a desire to give back to the community, and a willingness to reach outside their job scope, obviously all of this to assist others. We ask a lot of our public sector employees these days, and though the workforce has gotten a lot smaller, and we're about 400 employees less just in the city family through this economic downturn, the need for quality public services has never been greater. The employees that we're honoring tonight have taken the initiative to carry on more responsibilities and to work more efficiently in order to meet the needs of the city's residents. Tonight's recipients exemplify the phrase commitment to public service. The 4 recipients hail from diverse areas of public service. I obviously want to acknowledge Anne-Marie, Donna, and Jack from the city of Worcester, and Jose from the town of Southbridge. Please know that our communities are better off for your outstanding efforts. Anne-Marie Pickett is an amazing employee and a force of positive change. She's distinguished herself in the role as public education officer for the Worcester Fire Department. She's known for her commitment to the Worcester Fire Department for keeping our residents safe. Anne-Marie has implemented fire prevention and fire safety education plans from school children to the elderly, and educates with a caring, engaging demeanor. Jack Navin, well known among his peers for his tenacity and his exceptional dedication to his job. Jack's the coordinator of custodial maintenance services for our Worcester Public Schools. And I'm told he can walk to every school building in his sleep, and given his over 41 years in the job, maybe that's a good thing. Jack, you're regarded as the best among your colleagues. And to Donald DeRico Sands and the incredible dedicated team down at the Department of Public Works. A true professional. I've had the honor of working side by side with her for my tenure, and she's certainly regarded as all-around Miss Reliability. She's the head accountant for the Department of Public Works and Parks, and the good news is she's keeping Commissioner Moylan honest in his dealings with all of the accounts under his jurisdiction. She's not only proficient in her daily charges, but she's quick to volunteer and assist others in need. She really does personify what we desire in our public employees. I really do set the bar high, and I ask a great deal of our city employees, especially these days. Tight budgets, less resources, more demands. But it's individuals like these that step up to the plate each and every time, working smarter and harder to get the job done. And that will help our community flourish and thrive. And all of us need role models in our work, folks that we can emulate in our daily lives. And these four are role models for me in my role as city manager. And certainly in emulating what I'd like to do in my world is be a better man and a better manager. So on behalf of the city and its residents, I want to thank you for your service, the awardees, and to once again congratulate you on your well-deserved awards. I commend each and every one of you. Thank you.
Unfortunately, I find myself in the position of having to correct the city manager on one thing. I need to give credit where credit is due. Michael Mulrain is the chairman of the Worcester Regional Research Bureau. I'm the vice chairman, but thanks for the promotion. I'd like to, now it's my pleasure to invite the Worcester School Superintendent, Dr. Melinda Boone, to add her remarks.
Good afternoon. It's certainly my pleasure to be able to join with everyone today and the city manager and all assembled to say congratulations and thanks to four fine people, three of whom are right here in the city of Worcester and then our colleague in Southbridge. You know, this is something I look forward to annually because it is, as you said, about the unsung heroes, those people who go about their business on a daily basis, never expecting anything other than what they expect of themselves. And so this is a chance for others to say thank you and recognize your work. As I looked at the list of honorees this year, I realized that Worcester Public Schools is a beneficiary of all of the honorees, whether it's the support through Department of Public Works, certainly with Lieutenant Pickett and all of the fine work that she does with our fire safety program and being in our schools with our children. Of course, we know Jack with our facilities. And though Officer Jose is not part of the Worcester Public Schools, the interface with the police department in the city of Worcester and in Worcester County is so important to our being successful as schools. When you look at the Kids and Cops program that was highlighted here, that's what we're about. Our children benefit from the work of these fine people. So let me say thank you on behalf of the Worcester Public Schools and all that are assembled today, our school committee and our mayor, Mayor Joseph Petty. I do have to tell one quick story though, well, combine two quick stories when it comes to Jack Navin. I'm not so sure his family knows how much time we've spent together. And I know this is live and being broadcast, so let me be the first to tell it. There won't be any rumors here because I'm telling it myself. But two things that happened. In my first year here, I was really concerned about schools, and I kept talking about things that I wanted to see happen with the schools, the curb appeal, the outside of the schools, the inside of schools. So one day, Gino Larchick, Brian Allen, and Jack Navin and I did an adult field trip. And I believe that day, Jack probably realized this lady's crazy. Because we were all outside and we were looking at cracks, and I kept saying, well, how come I can go to other schools and there's not grass growing up in the cracks? And Jack said, let me tell you the story of what we can do. And so we spent a lot of time together doing that. But the most time that we spend is weather related. We've established a system in Worcester where we do conference calls to make a determination as to whether or not it's safe to open or close our schools, because student and staff safety is first and foremost. And so everyone remembers the winter we had last year, where every 4 days there was a storm coming through with significant additional snow. So normally our calls are at about 4:30 in the morning. Of course, Jack and John Hennessy, Brian Allen, and others are already up really early, interfacing with the Department of Public Works, knowing what we're hearing about the city, what are the road conditions and everything. And so we get together at 4:30 along with other team members and we talk. So we spend about 20 minutes or so together on those mornings. But last year with the storms, we call our 4:30 time breakfast club. We said, okay, it's breakfast club at 4:30. As the storms started coming so closely, we started having evening dessert club, where we would get on the phone somewhere between 8:30 and 9, and sometimes that was longer than the 20 minutes in the morning to make a determination, and sometimes we were on the phone at least 30 to 45 minutes, this full team, and Jack was a part of it. But as those storms continued to come, We then started afternoon tea. Somewhere between 2 and 4 in the afternoon, we were trying to make a determination of whether or not we could call schools at that time. Was it safe enough? Did we have enough information? And so to Jack's family, I want to say thank you for sharing him with me in the Worcester Public Schools, because in the winter and during the most recent Halloween, pre-Halloween snowstorm, I'm on the phone listening to where there's power. I'm on not the phone, on our emergency radio, listening and hearing Jack tell us, along with other members of the team, which schools had power and which didn't. And so Jack exemplifies what all of these honorees do today, going above and beyond and doing it just because it's what they believe in doing. Thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Bone. Now what I'd like to do is introduce the Southbridge Town Manager, Chris Clark, who is here with us this evening in recognition and support of his award winner from Southbridge.
Good afternoon. It's nice to have the opportunity to come out. Actually, normally I go to a council meeting and it's not always a friendly environment. So it's nice to have a friendly opportunity here. What's also more important, actually I should do Christopher Clark, I'm the town manager. I've been the town manager for about 3 years, actually almost 4 years now. And I've had an opportunity to be in municipal government for over 20 years. And the one thing that I recognize in the 20 years of being in government is a good government is one thing made up of good people. But you need not only good employees, but you need good people to make a difference in government. And I am just so proud to have the opportunity to come out and just say that we have one of our good employees and a good person that's going to be out and recognized. I think it's wonderful that the Research Bureau does have a service like this, because quite frankly, I think it's something that really lacks a lot in government, just the opportunity to recognize those that do above and beyond. One of the things that I found in my time with the town is that when I'm off hours, I always bump into Sergeant Dingy. And he's been at Cops and Kids program that I've seen him at our community center when we've been in the process of converting that over. He brags about his undefeated basketball team, which I've coached a little bit, and I'm actually envious of that opportunity. As well as I've seen where we've had challenges, quite frankly, from the state, that they've discontinued a community pool because they're in the process of rebuilding it. And I have a meeting and say, well, who will step forward and who will help to help the kids in the community find a place to go? And Jose steps forward and fills the need that's there. We had a community garden project this past summer to try to get the community more involved. And again, we just had a meeting, and who do I find but Jose Dingy out there saying, that I want to help. One of the last stories, I went out on I think it was a Saturday morning. I got up, Saturday morning I should spend time with my kids, but I got up to help a little bit. And Jose, not only was he out there, but he brought his entire basketball team out on a Saturday morning to clean up some displays that a civic group had put into place. And that's what I think makes a difference. It's not just someone that shows up and does the 9 to 5, but somebody that shows up in life as well as in the organization. So, and the other thing I found out, which I think is great, and we'll go down to the history books here, that it is an honor to have Jose, one of our own, be only the 4th person outside of Worcester to win this prestigious award. So he brings respect not only to himself, but to the town. And it certainly makes me feel good to represent an organization with the quality counts, quality people, as well as quality individuals. So congratulations on the award, well-deserved. And to the other members, I haven't had a chance to meet you, but if you're anything like Jose, congratulations to you as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I'd like to make some acknowledgments before we get started with the award presentation. Take the opportunity to thank any legislators and government officials in attendance for their support of the program. Please stand or raise your hand so we can acknowledge you. I know you're out there. Come on. Thank you. Also, I believe we have past Green Award recipients in the audience. Could you please stand or raise your hand so we could acknowledge you as well? Thank you. On behalf of the Research Bureau, I'd like to thank the sponsors of tonight's ceremony for their support and generosity. These include Assumption College, Saint-Gobain, Music Worcester, DCU Center, Scharfman's, the Beechwood Hotel, Worcester Telegram, and Chris Christos, photo editor, sole proprietor, N-Star Gas and Electric, the Worcester Sharks, the Worcester Tornadoes, Worcester Credit Union, Checkerboard Limited, Arthur and Micah Chase, Mechanics Hall, Hanover Theater, Worcester Art Museum, Ecotarium, Worcester Historical Museum, and the Tower Hill Botanical Garden. So if we could have a round of applause for the sponsors, please. And I'd like to introduce from the City Council, Tony Economou.
Good evening, everybody. Sorry about that. On behalf of the mayor and my colleagues at City Hall, I'm proud to be here to bring greetings to the Worcester Regional Research Bureau on their 24th Thomas S. Green Public Service Awards. I'd like to, excuse me, had to catch my breath there. I'd like to thank the entire staff and executive committee for their continued commitment in providing Worcester and the region with nonpartisan factual reports which allow us as elected officials to make informed decisions. It's an honor for me to be here to help recognize 4 public employees, 3 of whom are from Worcester and 1 from Southbridge. You'll be hearing much more about them and these dedicated public servants as the evening goes on. But I wish to congratulate Donna DeRico Sands, who has worked for 21 years at the Department of Public Works here in Worcester. Anne Marie Pickett, who has worked for 10 years for the Worcester Fire Department here in Worcester. And Jack Nevin, who has worked for 41 years with the Worcester Public School System here in Worcester. As well as Jose, excuse me for pronouncing your name incorrectly, Ding, who has worked here for the past 15 years at the Southbridge Police Department. Once again, a great job to everyone, and it's been my pleasure to speak with all you tonight, and please enjoy the rest of the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Contributing citations from the State House tonight in recognition of these awards, I'd like to thank Senator Harriet Chandler, Senator Richard Moore, and Representative John Mahoney. Would you stand or raise your hand? Finally, we'd like to thank the City of Worcester Government Channel, under the direction of Judy Warren, for videotaping the ceremony today. This event will be rebroadcast on Worcester Government Channel 12 and other local municipal government channels, and will be available to view on the City of Worcester's website. For the presentation of these awards, the committee selects one member for each of the award winners. That member then meets with the award winner to get a more personal sense of their work and their commitment to public service. For our first award tonight, I'd like to invite Leah Lamson to the podium, who will introduce Donna DeRico Sands.
Thank you, and good evening. I'm extremely pleased to be here tonight to introduce you to a most deserving winner of the Thomas S. Green Awards, Donna DeRico Sands, Director of Accounts in the Department of Public Works and Parks Administrative Division. Donna is a graduate of St. John Fisher College in Rochester, New York, with a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting. She also earned a master's degree in business administration at Nichols College while working full-time for the DPW. Donna was hired by the DPW as an accountant in 1990 and promoted to senior accountant in 1993. She assumed her current position as Director of Accounts in 1994. So, since all of her positions there have centered around accounting, I thought it was only fitting to tell her story by the numbers. 10,000. That's how many invoices her division processes each year. 64. That's the number of separate accounts they must track for the annual budget. 1,005. That's how many phone calls are answered by the DPW's Customer Service Division, a unit Donna helps support outside her traditional role. And 32,000. That's how many work orders the Customer Service Division processes. But I have an inkling these might be the more important numbers. 3. That's how many children Donna has. Samantha, Matthew, and Olivia. 1. That's how many husbands Donna has. Her husband Walter and children and her mother-in-law are here with us today. With apologies to all the accountants in the room, I asked Donna if she got bored sitting behind a desk crunching numbers all day. And her answer to that is at the very heart of why she is such a deserving winner. In addition to her involvement in the Customer Service Center, Donna said she loves her job because it affords her the opportunity to take part in other activities sponsored by the DPW. She gets involved each year in the department's Thanksgiving food drive, collecting donations of food and then delivering them directly to the families in need. She plays a similar role in the department's annual Christmas gift program, working with a variety of local agencies to collect presents for disadvantaged children and families in the Worcester area. And her involvement in the DPW's open house, where Worcester residents and their families can meet and mingle with the department staff, is another example of her willingness to do something that's outside of her formal job description. Another way Donna got out from behind her desk in her earlier years at the DPW was to serve as a snow inspector in the winter snow and ice control program. She was assigned to monitor and manage a specific snowplow route in the city by driving around with a partner during the storms. Being a native of upstate New York, she said this was a great way to get to know the city of Worcester. Not surprisingly, Donna advanced from snow inspector to snow supervisor, in which she directed up to 4 teams of snow inspectors and more than 100 pieces of snow removal equipment. Her most notable memory of her snow days was when she and her partner were driving around inspecting the roads during an April 1st storm, not realizing how fast the snow was falling. It was only when they read the next day that a total of 32 inches of snow had fallen that it dawned on them that they were driving around in a blizzard. In her current role as Director of Accounts, Donna not only oversees functions such as accounts payable, purchasing, and payroll, but she also supervises numerous employees from clerical staff to accounting staff. When I asked her the most rewarding part of her job, she quickly said, "It was the people I work with." And I bet they feel the same way about her. So for her exceptional competence, her willingness to perform tasks not spelled out in her job description, and her friendly and helpful attitude towards the public, I am pleased to present the Thomas S. Green Award to Donna DeRico-Sands.
Thank you, Leah, for those kind words. I am deeply honored to have been selected as one of the recipients of the Thomas S. Green Public Service Award. I would like to thank the selection committee of the Worcester Regional Research Bureau for choosing me as one of the 4 recipients of this prestigious award. I would also like to congratulate my colleagues this evening who are also receiving this award. I'd like to say a special thank you to Commissioner Robert L. Moylan and Assistant Commissioner Dan Curtis for nominating me. I am sincerely grateful that you thought of me. I worked for Dan Curtis since the first day on my job, and I've always thought of Dan as a mentor. Dan, I have to thank you for your time and your knowledge. You've taught me a lot over the past 21 years. And lastly, a special thank you to my husband Walt and my 3 children, Samantha, Matthew, and Olivia, to share this with me this evening. I have a short story I'd like to share with you.
My oldest daughter, Samantha, asked me a question about a month ago. She said, "Mama, if you had to choose between work and family, what would you pick?" And I laughed at her and I said, "Samantha, of course, family. You will always be number one to me." But it made me begin to think how much my work has become a part of my family. The friends that I've made since the 21 years I've been employed at the Department of Public Works and Parks has changed my life and has become a part of me. From working the long hours as a snow inspector to the day-to-day task of my job. I've enjoyed all of it, and I feel blessed that I can say that. I like to end with a quote. "And in the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years." And that was from Abraham Lincoln. Thank you.
Congratulations, Donna. Before we introduce the next award winner, I'll just introduce the Thomas Green Awards Committee to you. I am the chairman of the committee. We have Barbara Clifford here, J. Michael Grennan, Leah Lamson, Joanne O'Leary, Karen Ludington, Kevin O'Sullivan, Dr. Roberta Schaefer, president of the Research Bureau, Hank Stoltz, Richard Foote, Robert Kennedy, and Todd Rodman. They all devote quite a bit of time to reviewing all the applications and making the selection, so I'd like to thank them. For our next award winner, Barbara Clifford will introduce Sergeant Jose Dingy.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. In late winter 2011, the leaders of all the municipalities of Worcester and the region submitted many worthy nominees to be considered for this prestigious award. Senator Richard Moore saw fit to nominate a man who has done incredible work in his hometown of Southbridge. So I have the pleasure tonight of honoring this special person of the evening. Sergeant Jose Dingy has been with the Southbridge Police Department for the last 15 years. Jose was born and raised in Southbridge, and he attended Worcester State College. After he joined the police department, he received a criminal justice master's degree from Curry College. Assigned as a school resource officer at the Wells Middle School for 5 years, Sergeant Dingy successfully led the Cops and Kids program that was created 15 years ago by Sergeant Rosa. This innovative program fosters building strong relationships with Southbridge's youth, and it's responsible actually for an 85% reduction in juvenile delinquencies in Southbridge. To the credit of Sergeant Dingy and the entire team, the Cops and Kids program offers many things, including the couple I'm going to tell you about. They offer a summer program for 125, sometimes 130 kids, and this offers daily programs at the community center, as well as a host of different field trips that include kayaking, visits to Six Flags, swimming, water parks, and the list goes on and on. The program has partnered with Project Bread, and they provide the breakfast and lunch for the kids all summer long during the program. Many of the counselors of the program, and this part I really was very impressed with, are past graduates of the program, and they enjoy working for the program that they themselves experienced when they were younger. In 2003, Sergeant Dingy helped develop the Juvenile Diversion Program that helps kids really see that if they are on a troubled path, if they're following a troubled path, it gives them time to actually change it before it's too late. The program actually includes visits to the Department of Youth Services detention centers, so that the kids are so that if these kids are beginning to get in serious trouble, just beginning to, they can actually see firsthand what the detention program is really like, and it serves as a wake-up call. They get to see where they are heading, and they don't like it or want it when they do experience this visit. After the visit, they then write an essay explaining their experience. And Jose shared a couple of those with me. So one young man wrote, "I learned that being a fool hanging with the big boys, breaking all the rules, might be fun at the time, but once you get locked up, you start thinking to yourself, was 10 minutes of being tough and acting up worth 2 years or more of the DYS?" So the impact of the program then is best said by another young boy who said, "The trip changed me in more ways than one. DYS isn't the place I want to go for a couple of years. I learned a bit. No, I actually learned a lot about respect from that trip. Sergeant Dingy is very proud of the Kids and Cops program graduates. Some of them have actually gone into criminal justice education, and one graduate of the group is serving in Afghanistan, and he receives actual care packages regularly from the Kids and Cops program. So they're following and keeping in contact. And these graduates, many of them return to work the summer program and mentor the Southbridge kids. So all of these achievements mentioned today are only one part of the story of Jose Dingy. There are so many other ways that Sergeant Dingy contributes to his community. When I met with Jose in his office one Friday evening earlier this month, I was actually impressed when he was explaining to me the program and his commitment to the work, his steady focus, and it was always about the team of collaborators. It was never about what he did, it's what they did as a team. And as we took a police car ride after our chat around Southbridge, by the way, I did say, I've never been in a police car, wow. And he said, Barbara, as long as you're in the front, you're okay. So thank you for that good advice. But as we took this ride, I got to see the community itself, the places that the kids spend time in the programs, and I also learned about Jose the person, the husband, the father, the coach, the mentor of so many young people. And then we went, after the ride around town, we went to the Hoops program, basketball program, where I said to Jose, about how many kids? He said, maybe 20. And next thing you know, the place was filled with 80 kids enthusiastically playing ball. This was the first group of this particular season. So on top of all that, Jose and his wife participate in volunteer work with their church. And in addition to all of Jose's work with the Southbridge Kids programs, his family and his church, he also makes time for additional community involvement, and he's now serving on the Board of Trustees of the Harrington Hospital. So lastly, I know you want me to stop. Lastly, before we invite Jose to come up and accept this award, I would like to say that I know in addition to your colleagues, you also have your family here in the audience tonight, your wife Nellie right there, and your 3 children. And I met Jeremiah at the basketball court, and as well as your parents, your brother, 2 sisters, and their families. And they are all extremely proud of you as well. So for me, it is a great honor to present the Thomas S. Green Public Service Award to Sergeant Jose Dingy, truly one of Southbridge's finest.
Thank you. Just allow me a second to. Barbara had the daunting task of shadowing me for a night. So, like I said, she loved the cruiser ride. But there's a couple things that I didn't do that I usually do. When we pulled up into the gym, she was able to see all these kids, but she met my sister. And them 2 hit it off like they were college roommates. I said, I thought this was about me. She again stole my thunder, But my sister went on to mention, did he make you wear a badge? Did he give you a tour of the station? Did you get to hit the siren in the police cruiser? And Barbara had to say no to those. Because, we just ran out of time, and I usually do that. So, just so I could make things right with her, I got her a badge.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And if you could just step over. So I got you a little police cruiser so you can hit the siren now.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Worcester Research Bureau and the Research Bureau Committee for nominating me. Thank you. I'm truly humbled and honored to be a recipient of this award and to join the past recipients. I would like to thank Senator Moore for nominating me and let him know that he is actually a key factor in the Cops and Kids program. Without you, the Cops and Kids program wouldn't be where it's at. So thank you for all your support. I was also I just would like to take this opportunity to also thank people that made a difference in my career. I would like to thank Judge Perez and Probation Officer Candido for being a big part of the juvenile diversion program. My chief, Daniel Charette, for allowing me to proceed with my ideas that really didn't go with police work, but he was on the same page that if we start with them young enough, we don't have to deal with them when they're older. So I want to thank my chief. I also want to thank Officer Rosa right now. He's actually in Florida, so he wasn't able to attend, but he was an officer that took this rookie under his wing and really showed me that it was not about arresting all the people like I really wanted to. It was about spending a little more time, and you could really make a difference if you think outside the box. Who would have thought basketball and police work made sense, but it did, and it's changed a lot of lives. I would like to thank those people that assist me with the Cops and Kids program, my brother, my co-workers, the Cops and Kids staff. I see Jordan out there and Jocelyn. They're big parts of the program. Jordan is one of those that he was one of my graduates from Cops and Kids program. And then he's a mentor now. And for the last 5 years, he's been my lead counselor. And truly, without him, the program wouldn't be working. And hopefully, I hope it makes a full circle. He joins us as police in the next couple years. So that'll be truly what the program's really meant to do. I would like to thank my mother and father, my two sisters and my brother for being part of my life and always supporting me and guiding me in the right direction. And truthfully, you all take a back seat to my precious wife, Nellie, and my three beautiful kids, Mariah, Jeremiah, and Leah. Without my wife as a co-pilot, this vessel would have crashed a long time ago. And last but not least, I would like to thank the Lord for placing my friends, family, and all my co-workers in my life. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jose. Okay, and now for the entertainment portion of the program, we have Hank Stoltz, who will introduce Jack Navin.
It's 3 a.m. and the motion detector is going off at the school. Who are you gonna call? Jack Navin. School's about to open and they've clogged the toilets again. Who are you gonna call? Jack Navin. The winter storm is bearing down. The school needs to be open. Who are you gonna call?
Jack Navin.
That's right. You're gonna call Jack Navin. Custodial management, Worcester Public Schools, 24/7 when it hits the fan, and sometimes I'm told it does literally. He is the man that you are gonna call. No matter what the mess, and he has absolutely seen them all, he's the man, and it has been that way for a long, long, long time. 41 years. 56 buildings that Jack and his team are responsible for in the city. Now, the whole operation is run out of what can best be described as this big warehouse at St. Gobain. It was a deal that the city manager put together. All the supplies, all the shops, and you may not realize how much is actually manufactured for the schools right here in Worcester. As the kids would say, it is ginormous. And it is HVAC, it is electrical, it is plumbing, it's all housed there, and they still could use even more room because there are so many supplies to keep the schools in shape. You can imagine what a huge task this is. Mill Swan School needs a certain type of wood or something special for the outside of the school. That's done right here in the city of Worcester, and it's all stored at that school shop main office, which, by the way, because I got to go there and visit, is under incredibly tight security. I mean, I needed a retina scan, just first of all, to get into the place. And then, and I kid you not, they give you a map to find out where Jack is. They put a little X on the map and then they write Jack, and then they send you down these roads. And I have copies of the map out after if you want to take a look at that so you can go and visit him. Now, it is perpetual motion from those first early morning hours when Jack arrives. It's the overnight calls that are there from the night custodians. You've got emergency problems, of course, first things in the morning. It could be anything from no heat to the lights are off in a classroom, the roof is leaking, the kitchen starts up, and maybe somebody smells some gas. Better call Jack and get somebody up there early in the morning to when he leaves. It is go, go, go. And by the way, in the time, this is an interesting factoid that Jack shared with me. In the time that he is at work, those kids have flushed those toilets in those schools somewhere between 1,500 and 3,000 times. That is a lot of wear and tear. Scheduling just to keep up with something like that, a huge demand. And of course, there are all the daily fires to put out, sometimes literally. And as his wife can tell you, the end of the day never comes. You're eating at the 99, and you know that a crisis is going to pop up and somebody is going to give you a call. But as Jack says, there is this great sense of accomplishment that goes with the job. The days fly by, and you really can't wait to get back to work the next day. I should mention that while all this is swirling around him, of course, Jack is actually doing his job. So he's meeting with all the vendors to keep things stocked. He's meeting to make sure that everybody is running smoothly and is on the same page. He's getting out of the office, as the superintendent said, to visit the schools, to talk with the principals, and he's got to keep everything running smooth. Just think about something as small as this past week. Somebody has to make sure that all those clocks actually get changed. We take everything for granted. It'll just get done. Well, we take it for granted because Jack and his team are the guys who get it done. And it's a good thing he loves it, because Jack has been at it since 1970, when he began with the city as a custodian at the administration building, at that time one of 220. As with everything in the city today, you need to do a lot more with a lot less when it comes to manpower, and they do that job. And he has done every job and worked in every building in the city. Now, it was back in 1992 that Jack took over the utility crew. And in those days at Foley Stadium, and this is really one of those other jobs that you just don't think about. Think about the number of schools, think about Foley Stadium, and the amount of grass. Just think about the amount of grass that needs to be cut. And again, as the superintendent mentioned, think about the plowing that they have to do. Jack coordinates the dozen plow drivers that he has. They devote their time to making sure those schools are open. He probably can find his way to all the schools with his eyes closed. I think that those plow drivers have plowed those so many times they could probably do that job with those twists and turns with their eyes closed, and in some of those storms, I'm sure that's exactly what it's like. Now, we always think of the blizzard of '78, but not long after Jack was put in charge of the utility crew, it was the storm of '93. They were plowing 24 hours a day. The operation began on a Friday. They didn't quit until a Wednesday. So again, it's 24/7. Kids are kids. Clogging the toilet, watching it overflow, still a favorite pastime. But Jack does say that over the years, modern alarms, smoke detectors, the technology that has changed since he has been on the job has really been a huge help in keeping the vandalism down. Fires are way down. Now, I am here to sing Jack's praises, but as he is the first to point out, it is a team effort. And indeed, this is one of the things that he really loves about the job. The great people that he gets to work with, such as Brian Allen, Jim Bedard. And quickly, I'm going to leave you with a couple of things that Jack told me that I want you to know. One is that when you're an elementary school custodian, that is just one of the great jobs, because it is a great feeling to see those kids each day when you walk in, because they absolutely love you and look up to you. And I also got from Jack this piece of wisdom that I'm going to impart to you just in case you ever need it. If you ever have pigeons in your gymnasium, the trick to getting them out is to get all of the guys on the crew together. You synchronize your watches. You take all of your loose change out and you put it all together. Then you drive to McDonald's. And when the first fries come out of the fry-o-lator, you buy them. You then bring them back to the school and lay them out one by one until all the pigeons have left the school. Now, of course, if I ever get pigeons, I'm going to call Jack Navin. Jack Navin, please come up and thank you so much for all of your service. Thomas S. Green Public Service Award winner 2012.
Thank you very much, Hank. I knew he wouldn't forget the French fry story. But I would like to thank the Research Bureau, the Awards Committee, certainly the Director of Facilities for Worcester Schools, Jim Bedard, for his nomination, all my family and friends that are here tonight, and I certainly like to congratulate the other winners here tonight also. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Jack. Well, Karen has the unfortunate position of following Hank, but Karen Ludington is now going to introduce Lieutenant Anne Marie Pickett.
Where are Roberta and Jean? There's Roberta. Jean, what did I ever do to you for you to have me speak after Hank? Honestly. I'm very pleased to be here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to this wonderful event. It's always a pleasure for me to speak at this event because I think it's so important to recognize public employees because they so seldom get the credit they deserve. We take these quiet service providers for granted, either that or we complain about them. And so this is a particularly special time for me every year because there are so many great public employees and we have the best of the best here with us tonight to honor. I am here to introduce to you a very special woman who exemplifies the best of public service. The problem is that she has done so much that if I just stood here and listed every program she's gone to learn, every program she's given so other people learn, the seminars, the trips she's taken on behalf of the fire department, the wonderful creative things she's done with her department, I'd be here till long after I'm supposed to, and you probably would just get bored of hearing the list. So instead, I want to tell you a story. It's a wonderful story, and don't worry, it has a happy ending, which heaven knows we all need these days. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Annie who wanted to be a firefighter. Her father was a firefighter. Her uncle was a firefighter who became a fire chief. The smell of smoke was in her blood, and she wanted to help people and save people. But the little girl was growing to grow up to be a woman, and women couldn't be firefighters. So Annie grew up to be a paramedic. That was the way she could help people and save people. She did that for something around 18 years, when she suddenly realized that the world had changed, and there was a chance that she could reach her dream. She enrolled in the first Worcester firefighter class that included women. Annie wasn't very tall, as you will see, and she wasn't as young as some of her classmates, but she finished 5th in her class and became a firefighter. Deputy Chief John Sullivan, who nominated her for the Thomas Green Award, said that if you're a firefighter, you have to prove yourself worthy of trust and support. And to quote from his nomination, that challenge is infinitely more difficult for women. But Annie did it. And what's more, a few years ago, she became the first ever female fire officer in the history of the Worcester Fire Department. Annie is a public servant who takes her responsibilities very seriously. A few years ago, she became responsible for the Worcester Fire Department Public Education and Community Risk Reduction Program. At that time, it had no office, no car, no records, no evaluation tools, no demonstration props, and an outdated curriculum. Most of us would have felt overwhelmed. Our honoree threw herself into it pretty much 7 days a week. She first educated herself, then she created an infrastructure. She wrote grant applications so that she could buy the materials she needed, and finally she began educating everybody else. When she started the program, about 161 people a year were impacted, were reached by this program. In 2009, the program reached 15,000 people. In 2011, her program reached 50,000 people. They were Head Start kids, Worcester Public School students, seniors, the general public. She loves the kids especially. She calls them all her kids. To them, lieutenant or not, she's firefighter Annie. I discovered, by the way, I run Children's Friend in Worcester, and we do the Big Dipper Ice Cream Festival every year, and I discovered that she's been coming on her day off to do the fire safety demonstrations at the Big Dipper every year. When I was in her office, just to give you an example, I was in her office and I was sitting there, learning about her and interviewing her, and the phone rang and she picked it up and I heard her say, oh yes, Chief. Oh yes, okay, Chief. Of course I can do that. When I get home tonight, I'll work on that. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool. So I said to her when she hung up, so that was your chief? And she said, oh no, that was a chief from another town. He just needs some help with something. Tells you what she does for her job. When there's a death in a fire in Worcester, our honoree not only takes it seriously, but in her words, she takes it personally. She told me about a fire in which a woman was killed in her home. Our lieutenant walked the length of that street and knocked on every door, asking people to let her help them make sure it never happened in their neighborhood again. She keeps a map of all the fires in the city, and she analyzes the causes using a community risk reduction tool she learned at the National Fire Academy. An analysis of fires in Lincoln Village, where many elderly citizens live, showed that there was a significant cooking fire problem, resulting in many injuries. 1 to 2 families per month were being displaced. Firefighter Annie brought together the housing management, the Red Cross, Gino's Pizza, although I have no idea what Gino's Pizza had to do with it, a youth group and others, to create a multifaceted approach to addressing this problem, including education, enforcement, and the installation of fire stop canisters in all the units. I've seen data from January to November of last year, 2011, and in that time there were only 2 cooking fires. They were immediately controlled using the canisters, and no families were displaced. Annie gives the credit for all of this to her department and to her colleagues, not to herself. She is very proud of her department. She's also very, very proud of her 2 sons who are here with us tonight. I'm guessing they feel pretty much the same way about their mom. And I saw the way they looked at her when they came in tonight, and I know I'm right about that. By the way, Annie was named 2011 Fire and Life Educator of the Year by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I think we can say that the little girl who wanted to be a firefighter so she could help people has found her true calling. And the city of Worcester is better and safer because of it. Not many of us can save lives. I think we can be quite sure Firefighter Annie has. It's a privilege to present the 2012 Thomas Green Public Service Award to Lieutenant Anne-Marie Pickett.
Good evening. Thank you. That was awesome. It is an honor to be here. I realize that this is an award meant for an individual. It's a department effort. It's a department effort that makes this happen, and I thank my department for supporting that effort. My friends of the program are here, my family, my loved ones. I'm not going to take this opportunity, though, to say thank you, because you know I say thank you every day. Congratulations to the other recipients. What I'd like to do is take this opportunity. I brought some materials with me tonight. Those of you who know me, you know I can't help myself. First off, Papagenos, if you feed them, they will come. And secondly, a mentor from the Department of Fire Services, Jennifer Meath, is in the audience tonight. And she once said, Annie, show them you care, and they will listen. So tonight I'm going to say to you, with changing our clocks last weekend, I hope you tested your batteries and your alarms. Having a working smoke alarm and a practiced home escape plan will more than double your chances of surviving if there was a fire in your home. At the end of the day, I do all the things that was mentioned earlier, but I can't prevent a fire from happening in your home. We can't prevent a fire from happening in your home. You can. Tonight I've brought with me 2012 calendars from artwork from children all over the state. Each month it has a gentle reminder, test your alarms. I also brought with me from the Department of Fire Services a package to do a home family escape plan. Practice that plan. Make sure everybody knows about the plan. And also in your package is a room by room how to make your home a bit safer. Room by room with my business card on it, so if you have any questions to your unique environments, you can reach me through email is really the way to go. Phone system, not so reliable. Please take a moment on your way out. I was told to mention this too in the history of the Thomas Green Award. I'm the first recipient, Worcester Fire Department, to bring giveaways to the event. Please take a moment and share this, and then share it with somebody else. And that's how the Worcester Fire Department's reached over 50,000 people to reduce injury and property loss. Thank you.
Congratulations, Anne Marie. Finally, we have a special presentation tonight, and that's going to be made by Mr. David Forsberg, the president of the WBDC and a member of the Research Bureau Board.
Good afternoon. People who do a lot of public speaking have a saying that you should never go on after the banjo player. I feel like I'm put in a position where I'm going on after approximately 12 banjo players, because Hank, you were good, but so was everyone else. So I want to say congratulations to all of the recipients, and I want to say congratulations to all of the presenters. You've given me a very tough act to follow, particularly since my award is somewhat of a surprise. One of the few advantages of being as old as I am is that I knew Tom Green as a good friend. And I can attest to the fact that he was a fixture in the public life of this community. And anyone who has an award with his name attached to it is by definition a very special person. There's another individual who played a similar role in the life of our community, and very specifically in the life and the development of the Research Bureau. In fact, I would go so far as to say that without Fairman Cowan, there would not be a Research Bureau. A quick story about Fairman. I was very close to him. He helped me in my somewhat indistinguished political career. But more importantly, he was just totally immersed in the fabric of the community. So when it came time for him to retire, I said, "So what do you think, Fairman? Florida, the Cape?" He said, "No, I'm retiring so I can volunteer." And he's actually a classic example of a person who did more and more and more as he very gracefully aged. And one of the largest recipients of his wisdom and his work was the Research Bureau. And I know it was one of the most meaningful things that happened to him before he passed away several years ago, that the Bureau established an award in his name. And it's not given out every year, like the Thomas Green Award, but it is given out on special occasions. And I'm very honored that the Bureau asked me to make the presentation this year. So this year we present the Fairman Cowan Municipal Leadership Award to Paul J. Musi from the Department of Public Works and Parks. And I'm now relieved to see that Paul is here, because this is a surprise to him. Commissioner, thank you for your fine work in pulling off another complicated and difficult assignment. Paul, I know you're quiet and modest, but come up here and stand by me while I try to embarrass you a little bit.
Thank you.
I feel like I've watched him grow up. From an entry-level employee at Public Works 28 years ago, as a young engineer out of Wentworth Institute. He took an entry-level job, and as Commissioner Moylan will attest, he moved very rapidly up through the organization to a point where he is now Assistant Commissioner for Engineering and Architecture. beyond that, and I think, but you can see why I said he's modest and retiring. And I think Bob would agree that he has been his go-to guy on some of the most difficult and complicated projects that the city has undertaken, and I'm sure the manager would concur. North High, the Union Station Garage, the Rotary at Washington Square.
Dealing with you.
My favorite project. Yeah, Paul has had the misfortune in his career to have to deal with Commissioner Moylan and me simultaneously. I want to say some more specific words about his crucial work on the Gateway project, which is one of the most difficult and complicated projects that the WBDC has ever taken on with our outstanding partner, WPI. I think it's fair to say that Gateway would probably be here without Paul Moosey, but it would not be nearly the outstanding project that it has become, because the entire key to Gateway's success was doing the infrastructure work correctly, so that we could make this not just an industrial park or a science park, but we could really knit it into the urban fabric of the city. And without Paul's expertise, without his diligence, without his patience with us at times when we were asking for the impossible, Gateway probably would not happen. I am very proud of the still young man that I see before me after 28 years, and I think it's very fitting that we make this special presentation of the Fairman Cowan Municipal Leadership Award to Paul J. Moosey for 28 years of outstanding public service.
Thank you, everybody. If I have to say anything, it's that I don't do this alone. I'm lucky I have an outstanding staff under me that's dedicated to municipal service. And more important, I have a boss above me that helps me, that works with me, that doesn't hinder things. And that goes for two of those bosses that are right here. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, Paul, and congratulations to all the award winners tonight. I'd like to thank you for joining us and ask you if you'd like, you can join us across the hallway. There are some refreshments for afterwards. And that is the end of our program, so thank you very much for coming.